So I'll message my mates and be like, come down. And then they'll be like, I can't. And then I'll have a really good session and be like, you missed out. Welcome to the Insiders. We are back. Thanks for joining us again. Little intro to the episode. We're pretty much going to talk about some people falling off tour, some people falling off of sponsorships, some surfing news, and also about the fact that Darren was in a Lenore competition yesterday and got some bombs, even if he didn't get the scores for it. So, how are you doing, Daz?
I'm pretty good, mate. I'm pretty good. Today was an interesting day. I took my mother-in-law to a clinic to get a cataract taken out of her eye,
Wow.
and it's kind of swell was kind of macking this morning with offshore. And my mate Rob before one rang me while I was at the clinic and said, "Oh, mate, how you going? Are you out there or what?" And I was like, "I'm not on today." And then he sent me a message about 10 minutes later and said, "Yeah, all good, mate. It's not good." But he apologized. How many times have you rang and made up and to have a bit of a froth about the surf and they're blocked, they can't go surfing? You just feel bad about it immediately, don't you? I do.
Yeah, sometimes. And then sometimes, to be honest,
Sometimes you gloat.
yeah, well, like there's times where like, especially because I've just moved away, so I'll message my mates and be like, come down, and then they'll be like, I can't, and then I'll have a really good session and be like, you missed out. Uh, but it's more I hope to get them down next time more than anything else. So
Yeah,
get your
you
little
gotta
voice in.
encourage and motivate. Hey, so we got a
Exactly.
lot to unpack in this episode, Matt. What I'd like our listeners to understand as well, apart from the fact that we haven't upgraded to Zoom Pro yet, which is potentially on the horizon this year, we'd like to do the 45-minute episodes because I think that's a good distance to read and listen. Like when
Yeah.
you're cleaning the house, good thing, put your headphones on, clean the house, and by the time the episode's ended, I hope we're not annoying you already. So we wanted to talk about obviously Carissa Moore first, bang, and just a couple of days later, Stephanie Gilmore, the greatest and third greatest surfers of all time, or are we greatest and second greatest? Where does Lane Beachley fit into it?
I think they're the top two.
I think they're the top two. So here's something I think I really wanted to unpack today because I know we spoke about this yesterday. And a lot of people are blaming the finals format on why Carissa wanted to retire because she famously melted in two finals or just didn't win. Now, if she can't handle the all-in-one-day finals day, how did she handle the all-in-one-go Olympic gold medal?
Yep.
Does that mean she can't claim the gold medal?
No, I actually really agree with you here. Is like the Trestles final day, like it actually plays into Carissa's hands. You watch year one, she was like, she won it. So clearly, like, and the year Steph won, I personally think if it stayed at Trestles for another 10 more years, no one else would do what Steph done that day. The fact that she won five heats back to back was just like crazy. And then this year, she got beat by someone who was third in the world. It's not like she had a melt show or anything like that. It was just like,
No, I didn't think any of it. And Caroline really surfed really well, and there's
and
a
it's
lot of
Caroline's
factors
home
there.
break.
And she was one of a few goofy footers that were actually on the day, so there was a point of difference backhand surfing potentially as well.
Exactly. And, but I do think, Chris is stepping away from the tour. Um, it's a huge blow to the WSL, in my opinion. I think it's not a blow as in such that I don't think I don't think there'll be really any effect in the viewership or anything like that at all. But I just think if if someone wins a world title this year, is it got an asterisk next to it already because Steph's not on tour and Chris is not on tour?
Well, that goes for every sport, really. At one
Yeah.
stage, people are going to retire. Huh? Uh, I guess you can put an asterisk against everything, can't you?
I mean, you can. I put an asterisk next to the fact that Jack Robinson won pipe last year because it was 2 foot. He still had to win it.
Still have
So,
to win it, and there were some bigger days to get before you. When it comes to the annals of history, his name will still be there, and Chris's name will still be there, and the gold medal and 5 world titles. And like I said to you yesterday, I just think there's more to life than this, and not everyone in the world is Kelly Slater. Like we've been talking primarily about Carissa here, but honestly, I think the same thing for Steph, who I think everyone noticed in certain periods over the last few years just looked like she lacked motivation. And and the other thing is, like, have you ever seen a surf trip video of Steph at like a left-hand reef break anywhere?
no. But I think you're completely right when you say, and it's the perfect transition into talking about Steph is she is someone who 100% she gives off the like the aura that the competition isn't everything in her life anymore, and that there is more to life, and that she still will have a lot of fun, um, whether she's on got a rashy on or not. So,
And she didn't have a free reign. Like the first few years, I remember when she came on tour and she won like I think she won 3 or 4 in a row, didn't she?
yeah,
I'm pretty sure she did. And I do remember at one stage watching a comp, and I just thought, I think it was Puerto Rico. Was it Puerto Rico? What was the place where Kelly won his 10th world title as a right-hander? It's not Puerto Rico. It'll come. And it just didn't look fair. Like her turns were just so much bigger and more powerful than everyone else, and it's kind of didn't look fair. And then all of a sudden, Chris had come on tour, and she was able to win 5 titles, not off Steph, but while Steph was competing. So the two of them had a pretty gnarly neck, and mixed in there is Tyler Wright as well, who was
yeah,
looking really good. It'll be interesting to see how she goes this year too, as a multiple world title, two world titles or three, two,
two, same as John, both times the
two.
same year as John as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think this instantly, like in my opinion, Tyler is now like the favorite to win it this year.
Potentially, just based on consistency and everything. Like if you gave, she might still be a little bit young, but I'm warming in to the fact that um, Katie Simmons is doing the best surfing we've ever seen. Nearly, not better than Steph front side and stuff, but backside kind of better, and just tube technique pretty nearly untouchable. Like Sierra Kerr is obviously doing some amazing tube rolling, and so is the other girl. What's her name? Aaron Brooks.
Aaron,
But
Brett, yeah,
they don't seem to look like they have that innate um, flow that Katie's
yeah.
bringing to the wave.
And Katie will start to bring more and more air game to it as well as she gets more
You th
comfortable on tour.
you would think I mean that they're scoring that, but like where's she going to do an air in the first 3 comps, Matt?
Well, it
5 comps.
depends if Portugal's big or Portugal, but obviously Portugal is there,
Portugal
and
was there.
the end like Winky Pop and stuff. The thing is whether she does it in tour or not isn't as such as does she have it in the locker,
Well,
which
she's got it in the
does.
locker. It's just not going to help her very much at Pipe or Sunset or Bells. or Margaret River, which is maybe something that's got to be said about the schedule. Is it? Like, I mean, I don't mind it because it's 5 premium waves. So it kind of does seem like it's missing a pure performance wave there. Even though Bells is a performance wave, it's a different sort of performance wave. Winky Pop is probably a little bit more high performance as opposed to traditional performance.
Yeah, but and
They're
even
both gone.
even the
Two,
back
two,
half.
13 world titles. Can we shut the door on our dissection of the and just say sayonara and thanks for coming?
Yeah, and so look forward to see what actually comes out of it.
And can we
Um,
see how fleeting fame is? As soon as you've walked out the door, we forget your name.
Pretty much. Um, and then obviously moving on because you wanted to speak about another female who is probably in the top five females ever. Um, and obviously we spoke about Keelia Maniz being dropped by Roxy and stuff, and it kind of went under the radar that Lisa Anderson got dropped.
Yeah, but that was after. That was after. That was only on Saturday that I saw that. When was the last time you saw a surfing video of Lisa Anderson drop?
Yeah, no, years.
Okay, oh, that's no, that's just. I don't think. I don't know if I've got an opinion either way on whether she should or not be dropped, but I'm wondering, like, Roxy was traditionally when I first started at Quicksilver and I saw the sales meetings and the slides and everything. It was a 12 to it was marketed at 12 to 19-year-olds, believe it or not. And
Yeah,
then they transitioned into Quicksilver Women, which ran for a couple of years, and then they stopped it. And then I think they tried to broaden their horizon because obviously the surfing medium age of female surfers went from being a new sport to one that's been around for a while. So then, if you were 12, 20 years later, you were 32, so you could still market to these people. But how long? I mean, Michael Jordan's still sponsored by Nike, isn't he? Is he sponsored by Nike? Or is he
well,
just? Do you think they pay him money as a personality, or he just gets his royalty off his shoe?
he's not sponsored by Nike. He owns Jordan, and it's like a collaboration. He makes mega bucks from it,
Yeah, we know that, but there's two
but
very different things,
he's
isn't
not
it?
sponsored by Nike. No,
So
he's
there you
sponsored by
go.
Jordan. So
All the all the all the ex-basketball players, they stopped playing. Maybe they got a little bit of sponsorship for a couple of years. I guess you could say it's different because basketball's a game-related sport and surfing's more of an artistic lifestyle sport. Is that the thing?
yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, it's hard. Like basketball, like you say, is the game related thing. It's hard to compare it to surfing. I mean, the big one to compare it to make, I guess, to make every surfer feel a bit better. Tiger Woods has just been dropped by Nike after all of those years, after everything they've done. Tiger Woods is no longer sponsored by Nike. So if Nike can drop Tiger Woods, Roxy can drop Lisa Anderson, I
Just
guess.
wondering how many new people is was she bringing to the table? Um, how many Roxy consumers were staying with the brand because of her? Like it's all well and good that all the fellow pro surfer girls commiserate her, I don't know, like, what was that other word that they were using during COVID, where they lay people off? Oh, there was a super good verb for it that I'd never heard of
Redundancy.
before. No, it wasn't redundancy.
Oh,
No,
unless you talk about like force majeure.
no, no, no. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. The Americans use it anyway. She got put off the brand, and obviously all other surfer sponsored surfer girls don't like it either because it's threatening for themselves. And I understand that 100%. And I heard a few people say that she made the brand. Now I don't know about that. I don't know. Did she make the brand or did the brand make her?
Am I right in saying she was the first Roxy girl?
One of.
I think I think she was involved in like the start
Roxy.
of Roxy.
Roxy is the name of the daughter of the Greens, who is the founder of Quicksilver.
Yeah, but I think like was she not like the first Roxy athlete? I can't. I think one of, if not the first.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're 100%. But it's also like a little bit like there's certain people where you weigh up like they don't bring us any money, they don't really bring us any new customers or anything like
But we
that.
want to keep them for brand integrity. This I
Exactly.
can understand as
It
well.
just feels good. But
And how much was she costing them really?
exactly. Yeah. Unless she had like some really unrealistic
What's
wage demand,
unrealistic?
God knows with their budgets.
500,000?
No, yeah, that's really unrealistic.
There
Yeah.
you go. So what do you reckon? 100 grand?
I
We're
hope
just
not.
throwing it out there. We probably shouldn't even say words because it's throwing it out there. Let's
Yeah,
say,
I was thinking more
uh,
like 15K.
you reckon she was only getting 15K a year?
Well,
No
no, but
chance.
no.
So let's say she was getting 100 grand, and it's America, so it'll probably be 150. Um, is that is that worth saving over the next 5 years?
Yeah, it
Obviously, for
is.
them, they put it on a spreadsheet and said it is.
I think so. But the good thing is, from this, she has. I think she's now going to be involved with the EXO Coco board. So Coco Ho's just released her own brand of boards
Yeah, we never spoke about
um,
that in
with
partnership with
Parker.
with with that. How do you think that's going to go?
Um, I'm not sure. Um, I think it'll go well initially, like, and then it'll be interesting to see what projects come of it and like what marketing comes of it and things like that. I think they'll go pretty hard at it, and
I
it'll.
think it can work in California and Hawaii and potentially east coast of Australia.
Mm,
I'm struggling to see how it's going to work in big time in Europe.
yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I think it's got a chance in hell, to tell you the truth.
no, me too. And also, it's kind of like, yeah, I see it as like a little bit like, don't know, bit bit like I find it a bit funny because
Because
it's
she's
like,
not a shaper.
yeah, it's got Coco's name on it. But what, like, in all honesty, like I've watched the electric acid surfboard test with her in it and stuff, and no disrespect, but you know, it's not exactly like she's an expert in what it does to take to shape a board, and she's not on the tools. And I just find that a bit weird, like in the board building industry. Bradley's got his name on his board, Phipsy's got his name on his board, Skin Dog has, Mayhem has, DHD, JS, Pizel. It's like your pride and joy, you put your name to it because you're proud of it and stuff, and then it's like,
A
so
collaboration.
yeah, basically Coco's like the name behind it, but Matt Parker's shaping it. And I mean, I know that Coco's involved in it, and Matt Parker is a incredible shaper, like incredible shaper.
And she's an influencer. She's got a good 700K worth of followers.
Yeah, so I
And she's
mean,
got a good little bunch of mates that are pushing, helping her push it. Well, I guess what do they get? Free boards out of it?
probably I hope it
Because they're
goes
not getting
well.
paid. They're not going to get paid, that's for sure.
Well, you never know with album. Like, well, yeah, I mean,
Potentially. So now
technically,
they've
album
got,
I'm
if they want to
involved with.
follow, so if they want to follow Album's business model, they've got to find some sort of free surfing girl surfer. Well, they've got her, I guess. They just say it's Coco. They don't need
Yeah,
anyone else.
they got Coco. They're giving boards to Lisa Anderson,
She's an
Laura
incredible
Evers.
surfer. She's an incredible surfer, Coco. I
Yeah,
just think she's an incredible surfer.
Laura
Frontside,
Evers.
backside, big waves, small waves, tubes.
Yeah, Laura Evers got a board, and there is, I believe, they have got a female shaper in Australia. That was a big part of it as well, is they wanted to like get a female shaper involved and start to bring that up as well. So it's a really cool project. So that's off the back of that.
Interesting one there where you said Laura Annova riding a couple of boards. She's friends with her, and I heard Laura Annova talking the other day, and obviously I read a lot about it when she was off tour, where she got knocked off tour. And they said, oh, she left the tour and she went into big wave surfing, and the sponsors said, oh, what are you doing? You're crazy. Obviously, her dad and that said, what are you doing? No, you don't think it was a little bit calculated?
um,
Any little tiny bit that by getting into the big wave scene, which she kind of enjoyed anyway, where it actually had a massive stimulus at the same time, and it rebuilt her career.
I was about to say,
I'm
yeah,
wondering if it wasn't calculated.
calculated, and also, yeah, and if it was calculated, I think it's very astute of
Oh,
her.
it is. It is astute. It's just I did hear it and a few people saying, "Oh, what were you thinking? What were you doing? Well, what were you thinking? Trying to keep knocked off two or trying to keep getting a paycheck?
Yeah,
And if you enjoy surfing those sort of waves, kind of anyway,
I mean, I completely agree. Like, what is if you're just a grind? If you're just going to comps and grinding but losing, your surfing becomes really kind of like not really. It loses focus, and I think you've got a couple of ways to keep yourself relevant. You do what Laura's done, or you do what like someone like Victor Bernardo has done, like on the QE and stuff like that, and then
can you
decided
remember any uh,
no, no,
spectacular events that Laura actually surfed in? Any
no.
heats? Anything
And
come up to mind?
and same as Victor Bernardo, no one knew who he was. Like Laura Enner would have been a forgot. Laura Enner would have been a
She
forgotten
was pretty
name.
well known when she was on the tour. She had a couple, she was pretty well
Yeah,
known. She had a
I
pretty
mean,
half decent career and everything. But I think her post CT career is bigger than her,
yeah, exactly.
which
Um,
some people are good at.
yeah, I think it's a really good like kind of like lead for people to follow as well.
Rafael Ibanez, who surfs, is a guy down here. He was 100 times French captain for a rugby team. He's got
Yeah.
a house down here at Hossaball. And his post playing career, sensational. Commentary for the leading uh, TV channels, then into the French coach. Um, got his hand in a whole lot of pies because he was really good at that post career.
Yeah,
And other ones obviously just fade to black.
yeah. So moving on from that, let's talk about you. Um
I'd rather not.
all right, well, what do you want to talk about?
Um, we'll finish off on that briefly. I want to talk about pipe, man, because I mean I'm watching a whole bunch of videos, and because I just love watching pipe, and it's just been firing for days. So many people got helmets on, and there's a fair few like drop-ins going down. I saw this Carl Rothman one today where I watched briefly where he was umming and ahhing, and I don't know if that was calculated as well to get his viewers to say, "Where the helmet cover?" He's like, "I don't like the helmet. Where the helmet cover? I don't like it." And I I got a feeling that you like I understand. I wore a helmet in West Java in '96, a Guff helmet, and I took it off after a few days as well because it kind of feels pretty mangy with the water in there and everything. But that was 4 or 5 foot turtles, shallow and everything. It's not 10 foot pipe. Where
Yeah.
honestly, you hit the reef of your head, you're dead, aren't you?
Yeah. It's a hard one. I've never worn a helmet surfing, but I used to play cricket to a pretty elite level, and I would rather bat without a helmet on. Like there was a lot of times where I was batting without a helmet on, facing like some quick bowling, and preferred it because I felt sometimes like the helmet gave me like a full sense of security.
Or you
And
couldn't see the ball well, or just that.
well, yeah, no, your vision's not like once you're comfortable in them, like in terms of your eyes kind of blare out like blur out the grill, like you look past it. Same as if you look for a window, and if you look out the window, it will suddenly become visible and stuff. But it did give you a full sense of security, but also it felt like it did restrict you a bit. I don't know why. Like even just having something semi loose on your head, like it felt a bit like weird. So
Were you a batter or a bowler?
I've done both actually. I was an all rounder, but bowled pretty quick,
Bit
batted a
of an
bit.
all-rounder.
Yeah, gun fielder. Fuck. But yeah. So I think I said it a couple of weeks ago when Kai Lenny cracked his head open or cracked his helmet in half. It made me wonder, like, was that the reason? Like, you don't usually see that with Kyle anything. Was it because of the helmet that he maybe tried to get deeper or tried to take off a bit later and felt safer?
Maybe.
Or did he
I'm
feel a bit
I'm
restricted and that's why he fell? I don't know. But
I'm wondering when uh when is, because you can't say I guess you can. When or when is um the WSL gonna enforce wearing a helmet
well, that's what I was
at
wondering
pipe?
because
I'm wondering, like, would that not, is there a moment where they just say, like, you have to, because it's in their it seriously is in their interest. They don't want someone to crack their skull during one of their sponsored events when all they got to do is say you got to wear this.
yeah, I mean it
I
it's
wonder if we're not
it's
even
a,
at two
it's a
years
scary
off.
one. It's a scary one because it goes back to cricket, right? That there's a player called Phil Hughes, used to be an Australian player, really talented 24 year
Husey.
old. He got while in a test match, he got hit on the back of the head underneath where the helmet finishes,
Mm,
but still on the back of his head, and he died. And
okay.
now the international cricket, like the ICC, have enforced that you're wearing a helmet and it has the protection's been massively added to the back of the helmet as well. And since then, these people have been hit on the extra protection, and everyone like it's pretty much like cut out the issues. But it took someone to die, and that's what you don't want if you're the WSL, or if you're anybody.
What do you reckon they're going to say if you turn up to the box at the top of the hill for the downhill at the Olympics with no helmet?
Yeah,
How fast are they going down that hill again? It's over 100K, isn't it? It's
must be. Yeah,
fast.
yeah, super quick.
Like, they wouldn't let you. I don't think they would let you.
No, I'm pretty sure in baseball you're not allowed. In baseball, like you have to wear a helmet, or like the hat with the side protection. Um,
So
you
let's
have.
say it's not in 24. I'm calling 25 or 26. It's going to be mandatory. I'm also calling that we're going to see all. How many are there? 6 heats of three in the women's side.
Um,
I reckon every single girl's going to wear a helmet.
do you think? Mm,
I
yeah,
can't see who's not, because Moana wears one,
Moana
doesn't
wears
she?
one. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Let's see. It's going to be an interesting call. I'm a competitive person.
I
You,
would.
can I bet you a beer on it?
You'll bet me a bit that you go. Every single one of them is wearing it.
Hmm.
I'll go. Every single person will wear it except for. I kind of agree with you though. I think they are gonna, but I'll go a beer. I'll bet a beer with you on it. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Even though you agree with me, it looks like I've got a beer, because if I lose, no, well, if I lose, I'll still buy the beer. So you've got a chance of winning the beer. There's
Yeah,
no way in the world it'll happen with the men's, but what if John walks down the beach with a helmet on? Does other I think I saw Jack with the Red Bull one on in this video I just watched.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it would make sense. Like, I mean, I think he should have been wearing one anyway. But like, obviously, he's had a kid now. Um, I think I saw a clip of Lobby and he was wearing one.
Yeah, he was wearing one last year.
And also, who was it? I saw a back to
The
back.
Californian, Cade Matson.
Yeah. But I also think
Hudson.
I
I
might have
got
seen a
some,
clip of Ryan Callanan with one on as well.
maybe. Cade Madsen, a sleeper, got some hell barrels, left and
Yeah,
right. Left
and
and right.
I saw Griffin Colapinto get some bombs as well.
Yeah, I think Cade's were better than Griffins. I saw a couple of Griffs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Uh,
just, I'm really looking forward to the comp, Matt. I mean, I think that's how Wave start would be. I'm going to Surfline as we speak to see what the forecast is. We were looking yesterday, it was still looking like there were variable winds, of which I think that's really hard to pick there. The winds are good until Monday when it starts. Tuesday, poor winds. Wednesday, good winds, 2.7 meters at 14 seconds. Who knows what that means with Surfline? Thursday, small, maybe run the Rimmon. Friday, and then it goes dodgy. So forecast is starting to slip out of their fingers. It was looking good at one stage, and now it's looking like they're going to have to run with poor winds if they want to keep it with size. Don't you reckon? You
yeah,
go,
I
we
mean,
don't, what do we know? Would you
yeah,
rather small, clean pipe or big, slightly windy pipe?
big,
Yeah, I think that's going to be a popular consensus, isn't it?
big,
As
out
long
of
as it's
control,
tubing, you know.
challenging stuff.
So, Matt, what have you had in the last week that irks you? Have you got any itches you need to scratch?
Yeah. Two things. Actually, I'll stick with one. People putting boards on top of the other boards with the fins in, so the fins are touching the board on top of it, especially in the back of their car, with no protection in between, just literally like fin on deck of the other board, just irks me. I've watched a few people do it, and I'm like, especially in England, like you get a bit of wind and it shuffles it, and you hear it scrape the wax off, and like just it's their
Little
board.
bit of little bit of disrespect for the book for the fiberglass, you reckon?
Yeah, so that's been irking me. Um, just walking through, like when I've been walking the dog, I walk past a couple of people like getting out of their car or putting their boards back in or getting their boards out, and I see it, and I'm like, it's a bit psychopathic behavior. But other than that, you know what? I've been in a pretty positive mood, Daz, this year, so I can't say too much has been irking me. I'm waiting for the commentary at the WSL, and then I'll turn into someone really negative.
Well,
Um,
that'll happen. We all love to hate these people. I was a little bit irked yesterday because I started like my older brother and I were asthmatics, so our parents put us in swimming club when I would have been about four, I think. By the time I was 7 or 8, we were competitive swimming in Australia. It's a pretty big thing. There's a lot of kids in swimming clubs. So from an early age, just really had competition in our blood and then straight into life saving and everything. So I did a surf competition yesterday, which you were talking about before. And I sat and waited for the second half of the heat. And I think I just needed one more wave.
yeah.
And the waves didn't come. And as much as people say to you, doesn't matter. It's so good you participated and everything. You're still pissed that you didn't get through, you know. Like some people can do it. I can't. I was gutted. And it took a day to wear it off, and now it's water off the back. Is that the expression?
Yeah.
But I think competition has the best and worst effects on people
Mm.
throughout their whole life. I know kids that really aren't into competition. My oldest son wasn't. Uh, my youngest son's just like the worst loser you'll ever see. Like me,
Yeah.
you couldn't play a game can't play a game with him unless he wins.
That's like that's what I used to be like. Like growing up, like I've grown out of my. I'm still really competitive. I'm like a very very like competitive person, but like when I was younger, it was like any game, no matter who against, it was war. Like just going. So I get it.
I was
Uh,
lucky, man, because I quit lifesaving at 16 because it was just too much. 17, it was just too much swimming training. It was killing us, and and we made the final of a rescue board in Sydney. Me and one of my friends' older brothers, who was an incredible swimmer, and I did the board leg, and we had a chance of winning. And I got uh, along the beach. My end of the boys out the back. I was in lane one, for example, and lane one got kind of smashed by waves, and lane seven down the other end kind of got out pretty quick, and we ended up getting fourth, and it just gutted me. And luckily, I quit because then I got into surfing, and
yeah,
was like that was a great thing about surfing was it was man against the ocean, creativity, and that's I think why it's one of the greatest sports that ever was until you go on a comp.
yeah,
And
yeah,
some of these people love it. But as we've seen, some of the greatest free surfers just don't. And thank God for us, the
yeah,
spectator.
yeah. Definitely, 100%.
So
Yeah,
we've got an absolute belting, stinging forecast coming in over the next week. And we've got a
so
couple of
we.
days, maybe over the weekend, that are like twice as good as what they ran in the comp yesterday. Maybe not twice as good, but just as good. So I've
This
got a chance to, yeah, I've got a chance to redeem myself, and I've got a few boards ready, and I'm going to try and borrow this other board off Bradley that he made for a friend a few years ago. This 9-2. If Belly kept telling me these, it's too small for me, but I think he just wanted it to be. It's not really. It's just a bit narrow. That's all.
give it a crack.
Well, we'll give it a
Talking
crack.
about boards, I've got a new board being shaped. What we'll do a different episode on some new boards because I've got I've actually got three boards on order now, but one's almost done, and we've got a
How
mental.
many liters?
Oh, don't ask me that.
Go on.
It's
Have
it's about 35 liters. It's a 6.5 channel bottom twin fin made in a polyola blank, so it's a recyclable and recycled material, 70% recycled content and stuff. So it's eco.
how
And
do they glass them with the same sort of resin?
yeah, so you can glass it with PU, or I've glassed mine with it's called like resin research, so it's an eco glassing as well. And in the next month or so, I think Polyola are going to release their own glassing, like glass for it, which is like an eco glass as well. Um, but it looks incredible. I got it under my arm today. It just needs its final sand and then hot coat, and then it'll be ready. But it's gonna be ready for when the waves turn on. So
Ooh. Well, in keep your eyes out on our Instagram as well, listeners, because I'm going to drop over the next couple of days a top five men's and women's for Pipeline with a small blurb on each. Please follow us on Instagram. Please download
Poddy,
our potty and listen to it if you're in a car, or even like if you think you've got to go and do something. I just think listening to potty when you're cleaning the house is unreal because it's such a boring thing, and if you can get a bit of knowledge into you.
and please as well, if you are listening and you follow us on Instagram, or whatever, and you have something that is annoying you about the surf world, or something we've spoken about and you don't agree, or you do agree, well, as well, like message us, get us in DMs. We're all about it, and then we'll bring it up on a poddy as well. You'll be famous. You can then tell your mates you made it onto the.
My last quote of the day, Matt, is don't let yesterday's luxury become today's necessity. Keep it simple, folks.
From the book The Sapiens that Darren's reading that he really recommends.
The Sapiens. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Thanks for listening
Cheers,
again.
guys.